Hey everyone! So I've just finished cleaning my room and I was going through all these crazy fashion trends that I've been through throughout my last few years since I've cleaned out my cupboard. And it actually reminded me of one of my favourite analogies for people, and that is our personalities are really a giant pizza. Let me explain. So essentially the idea is that we all have different characteristics and values, and that these are all their own individual slice of our giant pizzas that of course grow and change as we grow and change in our lives. So for instance, you might have a part of you which is really into Harry Potter, and as you hit your 30s it might get smaller or bigger depending on what circles you run in, or it might be things like drinking, and when you're 18 you might not be hanging out with all the cool kids, going to all the cool kid parties, so that might be a really tiny slice of the pizza. But then when you hit your 20s you're like, whoa, drinking, bars, life's awesome, and I might take a bigger slice of your pizza. And what I really like about this analogy is the idea that it's unique to everybody and that it's changing and evolving as we're changing and evolving, which I think is really important. I don't think personalities are static. I think they're always changing in context to your surroundings, and any theory or strategy that says no, you're always going to stay the same, and it's a dichotomy. You can either be happy or sad, or you could be like extroverted or introverted, but you can't possibly be both or one or the other at certain times in certain places. Like, that's stupid. And so I really like the idea of like a pizza, because like, say you're hungry and you're out with your friends, you're like, man, I really feel like being super nerdy right now. So you might be like, yum, let's talk about 80s references, or throwing me some Hearthstone magic. Or like, you know, it's just, I like the idea that you have certain personalities which mix, and that you can have a bigger or smaller slice of your personality is like in this pizza. And something I think that's also really important is things like, you have to acknowledge different parts of yourself. Like, of course, some people are genuinely not interested in rocks, but some of, like, a teeny tiny part of you might be really interested in geology, or geology in space, and that's awesome. And so actually acknowledging that, you know, gives recognition, and it gives validity to a part of your personality. And so when you do something, you might be like, oh, that's not really who I am. Well, it can be. It can be a really small part of who you are. It can be a part of you that you'll only acknowledge at like 4 a.m. and trash stuff your face, but it's still part of who you are, and it doesn't define you. Because just like with everything in life, you can't define yourself by like one or two things. Like, we're way too multidimensional and complex for that. We're people, for God's sake. And so, and my friend actually, I told him about this analogy, and he was like, I really like the idea of that. And if you take like, not only just like the individual slices, and that will be like your context and your values and your personality traits, but things like humour, that could be like a topping. And so you have different toppings which would work for like most pizzas. So like things like humour, honesty, kindness, openness, like these things are pretty universal in what makes us get along as societies. But then you might have like things like really weird or obscure toppings that nobody really likes, like pineapple on pizza or asparagus. Someone told me they put asparagus on pizza, and I was just like, fam. These could be like some really specific aspects of like a personality, like hyper attention to detail, or like, you know, like just anything really. The analogy is really flexible, and as I said, like the reason I was even thinking about it is I was going through my clothes. I'm like, man, I had a poncho and a trench coat. That makes no sense. But wait, it's okay, because I'm changing as a person, and that's fine. And now I need to buy new clothes and sort out my desk. Anywho, that's all. Catch yous.